Welcome to our NSTP video lecture, and I hope you're having a great day. So this day we will talk about a new topic, but before that, I want you to be informed with the following reminders. First, please watch this video lecture attentively and without skipping. Second, take down important notes to help you understand the lesson better. And third, make sure to finish the entire video before answering any activity or reflection. Fourth, if you have questions, list them down and message me or your designated instructor so we can clarify your concerns. And lastly, be responsible and manage your time well to avoid late submissions because after this video lecture, we will have or you will have an individual activity that needs to be submitted in your Google Classroom. Alright? I hope that's clear. Our lesson or topic for this day is about safety, preparedness, and security. And I hope that you are already familiar with these terms. However, let's talk about first our learning outcomes for this lesson. So at the end of this video lecture, you are expected to analyze the difference between safety and or safety preparedness and security. Second, you should also execute some measures to ensure safety preparedness and security. And lastly, apply safety preparedness and security measures in a real-life emergency situation. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Now, going back to our topic, which is the safety, preparedness, and security, according to Shannon L. Alder, one of the most important things you can do on this earth is to let people know they are not alone. Now, what's the implication of this statement? This means that safety preparedness is not only about plans and procedures. Sorry, excuse me. It is also about people supporting one another. So a strong sense of community builds trust, cooperation, and collective responsibility. And this also means that effective security begins with connection. Di ba? Ganun naman talaga ang nangyayari. Kapag meron tayong connection sa isa't isa, mas nagiging epektibo yung ating mga ginagawa, especially when it comes to security. So people who look out for each other create a safer environment for all. Now, let's talk about the word safety. Basically, it is the measure and practice of preserving life, health, and bodily integrity of individuals. It also involves achieving the acceptable level of risk. An example for this is you students wearing a proper attire in PE classes or laboratory sessions to avoid injuries. Another example is following the school rules to reduce chances of accidents. Hence, we have the term safety first. Now, why safety is essential? It is essential for environmental work to improve productivity because a safe work environment with adequate safeguards that promotes safety from danger or any hazard decreases lost work hours. Now, where did the word or the term safety came from? It came from the French word sauf, that means safety. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Now let's also talk about the term preparedness. No? From the from the word prepared. So it is a set of actions taken as precautionary measures in potential conflicts and disasters. Uh, Say for example, joining school earthquake and fire drills as what you did last time, no, during your first month here in our school, BCF. So another one, it is the measure of reducing the effects of disasters predicting and preventing disasters, mitigating the impact of disasters on vulnerable population, and responding effectively in coping with the consequences of disaster. So that is what do we mean by the term preparedness. Okay? So when we coin the two terms becomes safety preparedness. Now what does it mean by safety preparedness? It refers to the readiness when responding to emergencies. Now we have large scale emergencies, right? Now this includes typhoons, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and floods, widespread diseases or disease outbreaks, terrorism, or terror attacks. Sorry for the term. Okay, so it is very important for us, no, every Filipino family that must have an emergency plan or emergency kit and a family communication plan when it comes to preparing for the mentioned or aforementioned large scale emergencies. Okay, so let's talk about the examples of large-scale emergencies that we have mentioned lately. First, we have here the typhoon. So why do we need to prepare when there's an upcoming typhoon? Because typhoon, we can anticipate, or we have a current technology that can detect, unlike the earthquake, we can detect when there's a typhoon coming to our area or to our place. So what does it really mean uh, when we talk about the term typhoon? So it is a type of a large storm that has a circular or spiral system of violent winds measuring hundreds of kilometers in a diameter or in diameter. So I know that you are already familiar with this. No, we have the term bagyo. No, so when there's a bagyo occur in our area or in our country, in our place, of course, um, naghahanap tayo ng paraan kung paano maging prepared or kung paano maging safe, especially kung malakas talaga yung bagyo, no? We have the term super typhoon. So we have the two terms also here, typhoon and hurricane. So these two terms are um, the same type of storms, di ba? But has a different names depending on the region. So typhoon is used in the Northwest Pacific. However, in the North Atlantic and Central and Eastern North Pacific regions, they use the term hurricane. So this is the same type of storm. However, they differ from which area or region they are being referred to or being used to, right? So, how to be prepared when there's a typhoon or bagyo? Of course, first, switch off the circuit breaker or the main switch of your household. And second, place appliances on higher ground or upper levels of your house. Because, of course, when there's a typhoon, there's also a possibility of a flood. Later, we will talk about that one. No? And third, avoid stepping on flooded floors that are in contact with electrical outlets, appliances, or cords, which could cause shock or electrocution. And lastly, do not use appliances or touch wires that have been immersed in water. Kasi makukuryente ka talaga. Okay? So I hope this is clear. Now, in connection with the term or with the emergency called typhoon, we also have the possibility of a flood or a flash flood, or we have here the different types of flooding. So um, flood, it is a natural occurrence or occurrence in an area of land that is normally dry but is abruptly submerged in water. So flood is defined as an overflow of a large quantities of water onto a normal or normally dry land. Floods happen in many ways due to overflow of streams, rivers, lakes, or oceans, or as a result of excessive rain. Diba? So, basically, typhoon brings an excessive or heavy rain. So, it is one of the reasons why flood also occurs. Now, we have the following types of flooding. First, we have the riverine flooding. So, an example for this is a river overflowing and flooding nearby barangays. So, merong baha dahil umapaw yung tubig sa ilog. Okay? So, we also have the coastal flooding. High waves and storm surge flooding shoreline communities during typhoon. So, ito naman yung mga baha na or yung tubig na nanggaling sa tabing dagat, umapaw. Yung tinatawag nating high waves or storm surge. Of course, we also have the term flash floods, which I frequently mentioned earlier. So when we say flash, it is a sudden rush of or flash flood or sorry, when we say flash floods, it is sudden rush of water in low-lying areas after a short but intense rainfall. No, flash nga no? Meaning uh, pinakalit. Of course, we also have the urban flooding. Example for this, streets getting flooded quickly because drainage systems are clogged, no? So ito naman yung baha na nangyayari sa ating mga urban places, no, sa mga cities dahil sa dami ng tubig na binubuhos galing sa ulan, napupuno or nagiging clog yung uh, mga drainage system. So nagkukos siya ng pagtaas ng tubig. Okay? So I hope na naiintindihan natin kung ano yung pagkakaiba ng mga types of flooding. Okay. Now, preparedness in case of flood. So ano yung dapat natin gawin when it comes to flood or merong flood na nangyayari? Of course, we have here 4 steps. First step is before the flooding occurs. So, what are the things that we should do before the flooding occurs? Kasi minsan, meron naman tayong kakayahan, meron tayong mga technology ngayon na may kakayahan na i-predict or i-identify kung meron bang paparating na bagyo. At yung bagyo ay magkukos ng flood. So, meron tayong magagawa pa bago mangyari yung pagbaha. So, ang pinaka dapat natin gawin is to keep important documents in waterproof envelopes and store food, water, flashlight, and batteries in an emergency kit. Yun yung very important. And we also have this one, very important. Clean canals and drainage around your home to prevent water build-up. So those are the things that we can do before the flooding occurs, no? Para maiwasan talaga yung matinding epekto sa atin. However, kung nandyan na yung warning na meron na talagang pagbaha, no? Move valuable places or move valuables to higher areas of the house. So, yung mga importanteng mga bagay, i-move or ilagay niyo sa pinakamataas na area sa inyong bahay para maiwasan silang mabasa. Prepare clothes and basic needs in a grab bag or in a basically a bag. Follow announcement from local authorities. No? Wag nang matigas yung ulo, sumunod kung ano yung sinasabi ng mga otoridad. So during the flood, avoid walking or playing in the flood water. So, mas maiging manatili sa loob ng bahay or sa emergency or evacuation center. And of course, turn off electricity if water starts entering the house. Kapag nakita ng merong tubig pumasok sa bahay, patayin na yung electricity. And of course, once again, move to higher ground immediately. So, hindi lang yung mga importanteng bagay yung kailangan nating i-move. Of course, kailangan nating unahin ang ating mga sarili na pumunta sa mga higher na lugar upang sa ganun ay magiging manatili tayong ligtas. Right? And stay updated through radio or phone alerts. And lastly, After the flood, no? Ano yung dapat natin gawin pagkatapos ng flood? Do not return home until authorities say it is safe. No, antayin natin yung confirmation galing sa ating mga authorities. And clean the area and disinfect items touched by flood water kasi minsan yung of course sorry, hindi lang minsan kapag meron talagang flood water ay possible na nagdadala ito ng mga bacteria or viruses. So, kailangan nating i-disinfect. And of course, watch out for sharp objects, broken glass, or animals. So now, let's talk about the term earthquake. Now, from typhoon, flood, we also have this natural calamity called earthquake. So what is earthquake? Basically, it is a sudden slip along a fault. The tectonic plates constantly move slowly, but they are stuck at their edges due to friction. So when the stress on the edge overcomes the friction, an earthquake releases energy waves that travels through the Earth's crust and causes the shaking that humans feel. So yan pala yung nagko-cause ng earthquake, no? Yung mga tectonic plates na uh, nag-struck with each other, and it releases energy waves na nafi-feel natin. So it it depends on the intensity of that what do we call this, the intensity of the earthquake, no, kung mahina ba siya o malakas yung uh, napoproduce niyang energy. So that's why nagdidepende rin yung kanyang epekto sa atin. Okay, that's earthquake. So how to be prepared in case of earthquakes? Of course, I know that there are already, or you already have an idea of what to do during earthquakes or during this type of emergency or disaster. But of course, let's add it or let's recall some of those ideas. First, secure and repair home appliances and electrical outlets to prevent damage or damages. Second, organize a disaster plan. And third, prepare disaster kits, emergency kits, and other type of things that you think it could help you when it comes to possible disaster. Okay. Number 4, reinforce your house. If you think that your house is not strong enough, time to reinforce it or to make it more strong. Okay. Number 5, prepare to drop, cover, and hold during the earthquake. So I know this is already familiar with you or to you. The drop or duck, cover, and hold. This is very important during the earthquake. You should not panic or hindi ka dapat nagpapanik. Kailangan mong kumalma at mag-drop, maghanap ng makakapag-cover sa'yo, and then of course, hold. Diyan ka muna, huwag ka munang tumakbo. Kasi baka sa pagtakbo mo, doon ka na nadapa or nahulugan ng kung ano-anong mga bagay. Okay, so number 6, find out if someone is hurt or something is damaged after the earthquake. So, kapag natapos na yung pagyanig, no, kailangan mong tumingin sa iyong paligid. Baka sakaling may matutulungan ka pang ibang tao kaysa or instead or no, may matulungan kang ibang tao aside from yourself. Okay, so what we have talked about earlier, diba? It is very important to let other people know that they are not alone, especially during emergencies or during disasters. Okay? So, tingnan natin kasali yung mga na-damage kasi para alam natin kung saan tayo pumunta. Of course, pag nakita natin na mayroong mga damage sa area na to or dito sa kabila, huwag ka nang pumunta doon. Okay? So number 7, follow your disaster plan and wait for news update. So sa number 2, kailangan meron ka ng plano kung ano yung gagawin mo kapag merong disaster or emergency na nangyari, especially during earthquakes. Sa number 7, i-follow mo yung plano mo na ginawa. No? Okay? So I hope na meron ka ding sariling plano kasi iba't iba yung plano natin depende kung saang lugar tayo nakatira or saang lugar tayo naroroon during the emergency or the disaster. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Now, we also have another example of a large-scale emergency or disaster. You have here the volcanic eruption. So what is volcanic eruption? It is characterized by the discharge of lava and gas that causes large numbers of people to flee the area. Volcanic eruptions often cause temporary food shortage and volcanic ash landslides called lahar. So I know that we are already familiar with what is volcanic eruption because here in the Philippines, we have many volcanoes that are existing in our country. And of course, we also witnessed, not maybe not for in first hand, but in the news or in the TV or in the social media, we can witness how volcanic eruption occurs or um, ano ang nangyayari kapag merong pumuputok na bulkan. Diba? So basically, it emits or it discharges lava and gas. Merong mga abo na pinoproduce. Merong mga lava na lumalabas sa kanyang crater. So we have two types or we have two terms here to unpack in connection with the volcanic eruption. First, we have the term glowing avalanche. Now, what do you mean by this? This is the most dangerous type of volcanic eruption. So ito yung pinakadelikado na uri ng pagputok ng bulkan. It can destroy houses and forests in seconds. No? Nakakasira daw ng mga gubat, no? Mga puno or lahat ng mga bagay na pumapalibot sa bulkan kapag glowing avalanche yung nangyayari sa volcano. Mayroong glowing avalanche. Okay, we also have the volcanic ashes. No? These are very fine particles of rocks that are released in the air during volcanic eruption. So, ito yung kadalasang nangyayari, nagbubuga ng abo yung ng usok yung bulkan. Ang nangyayari, it covers roads, damage crops, and can affect breathing. No? Kapag nandun ka sa lugar, maapektuhan yung paghinga mo at maaaring makakapag-cause ng suffocation. Hindi ka makahinga. The worst is nakakamatay. We also have other effects from this. As mentioned, we have the lahar. What do you mean by lahar or lahar? It is a mud flow caused by volcanic ash mixing with water. No? Kapag pumutok yung bulkan, nagkalat yung mga ash or abo sa paligid ng bulkan at nagkaroon ng heavy rain, bumabaha, dala yung abo na nagmix sa tubig. Okay. I hope that's clear, and it is very scary when this occurs, no, to us. But we are thankful that so far there's no volcanic eruption happens here in our area, no, particularly here in Bukidnon. But there's I don't know if it is true that there's volcanoes around us, no, an active volcanoes. I don't know if it is an active or inactive volcanoes that surrounds us, especially the Muswan Peak. No, I don't know if it is an active or an inactive volcano. I forgot the lesson during the science lesson in our high school or in our college days. No, but however, it is very important to secure our safety or to be prepared when these possible emergencies happen in our area. Okay? So, ashfall preparedness guide during volcanic eruption. So, meron din tayong guide dito, no, kung ano yung gagawin natin before, during, or after the volcanic eruption. So, pakinggan nyo yung sasabihin ko. Before a volcanic eruption, prepare emergency kits, mask, goggles, bottled water, and food, of course. And also seal windows and doors to prevent ash from entering your house. Keep important documents in waterproof containers. So, the same pa rin doon sa iba nating mga preparedness plan. So, what do we do during the volcanic eruption kapag nangyari na? Sorry. Stay indoors and avoid going outside if possible. Kapag nangyari na, huwag lumabas. Mas maiging magstay muna sa bahay kung maaari. Wear mask and goggles to protect your eyes and lungs. Cover water sources to prevent contamination. And lastly, after the volcanic eruption, what should we do? Clean ash carefully using wet clothes or brooms. Avoid dry sweeping kasi maaari mong malanghap yung mga ashes. Check roofs for heavy ash build-up to prevent collapse. And avoid contaminated water. Boil or filter if necessary. No? So, parang sa atin, hindi tayo masyadong familiar sa mga steps or guide na ito. Kasi nga, malayo tayo sa mga pumuputok na mga volcano, and we are blessed with that situation or with that state na malayo tayo sa mga active na mga volcanoes. So, however, once again, kahit na ganun, importante pa rin malaman natin kung ano yung gagawin natin when it comes to volcanic eruption. Okay? So now, we are done with the different examples of large-scale emergencies. And let's talk about the term security. So basically, security are the steps taken to protect people and property. But to make it more clear, it is a safety measure taken for protection, and it is utilized by a group of people responsible for keeping buildings or other areas safe. So the main purpose of security is, of course, for the other people or for the specific area or establishment to become or to be more safer or safe. So an emergency security situation refers to a civil and military uprising, insurrection, war, revolution, or other violent disturbance in particular area. So meron naman tayong tinatawag na emergency security situations. Okay? So to ensure the security of the other people or a specific area, we also have the security personnel, no? So nandyan yung mga security guards natin, yung mga police natin, or yung mga military personnel natin, no? They are also considered as security personnel, no? Pero the very familiar with us or the very close to us when it comes to especially sa school, meron tayong mga security guards. So what is the role of, or what are the roles of security personnel? They assist with the evacuation of the premises, including crowd control, and provides direction to emergency personnel when they arrive. And they also maintains the safety of the public and to keep everyone and the property secure, basically. Okay? So, we also have the term national security. So, what does it mean when we say national security? It means measures and policies taken to protect a nation and its citizens from threats. No? So it is a wide range of security around the country, specifically here in our country, the Philippines. No? Example for this is protecting borders, maintaining peace, and preventing terrorism. Now, according to the 1987 Philippine Constitution, it establishes civilian control over the military to ensure democracy and prevent the abuse of power. So even though we have the security personnel, the armed forces, and the other personnel who are in charge of our security, the Constitution or our Constitution ensures that we are in control. We civilian or the officials that we elect are in control of our military to ensure or to prevent the abuse of power given to them. All right. So that is the importance of having a president. No, the president is the commander in chief of the armed forces or the armed forces of the Philippines. So he is or she is the head of the National Security Council. So ang presidente ay mayroong kapangyarihan na pamunuan yung national or yung mga security personnels natin. Basically, no, our armed forces. And of course, we also have the national or the Department of National Defense. They are responsible for the national security of the country. Yan yung pangunahing tungkulin nila. Okay? So, um, we also have the term human security. This focuses on protecting people's lives, dignity, and freedom from fear and want. No? It addresses hunger, poverty, and risk from natural or man-made disasters. So that is the main or the general idea of what human security is. Example for this, um, we have programs that provide food, shelter, and medical aid to communities affected by typhoons or conflicts. No, so for example, our government. No, of course, our government is capable of doing this type of programs, especially when there's an emergency or disaster that occur in a specific community around our country. Now, a specific example for this in the context of you as a student, we have also the school programs that ensure students' safety, nutrition, and well-being. A big or a big example for this is our subject, the NSTP. It aims to uh, promote safety, and that's why we're talking about this lesson, to help you to become more equipped and more knowledgeable when it comes to safety, and of course when it comes to serving other people around you or around the community. Okay, so I hope that's clear. We have the national security and human security. Okay, now that ends our topic for this video lecture, and I hope you learned something. And of course, I hope that you will apply all of those things that we talk about, especially when there's an emergency or a disaster that may occur in our community or in your community. So at this point, you will have an activity to do. So we have here the community observation. So the objective of this activity is to help you, students, become more aware of your surroundings and identify real life hazards that may cause injuries, accidents, or disasters. Okay, so we have here a step-by-step instruction on what are the things that you need to do upon or in order to accomplish this activity. Okay, first step is to observe your surroundings. Look around your home, neighborhood, or pathways to the classroom or to the campus rather, and pay attention to anything that might be unsafe or become dangerous during disasters. Now we have specific examples below. No? A living room, school route, nearby streets, or community structures. Okay. Next step is to identify three safety risks. So you must choose three hazards that can cause harm. This risk may include first, environmental or disaster related risk, second, household safety risk, and third is community security risk. So under each component, you can also find specific examples of which of this that you can choose or you can identify. It depends on your um, in your case or in your environment. Okay. Now, the third one is document each risk. Of course, you have your phones or smartphones. You can take a photo if you are allowed and if safe, or you can only draw the hazard clearly if maayo ka mo draw. But make sure that your drawing or your image shows the location and the exact hazard. And of course, fourth is to write a short explanation for each risk that you have identified. So for every risk you identified, include a short paragraph with, okay, first, what is the risk? Second, why is it dangerous? Third, who can be affected? And lastly, your proposed solution or safety action. Okay? Now, fifth, you can or you organize your output na. So you may present your community observation activity in one of the following formats. So you can choose any of these formats. So you can choose or you can produce or present your output in a document format. Let's exclude handwritten. Let's do it a digital document. So if you choose this format, you can use the attached document or template in the Google Classroom activity for this specific activity. Okay, so I will going to attach a template where you can use it, or it is a ready to use template, no, na fill in na lang ka or mag-fill up na lang ka sa mga needed nga information. However, if you like to present your output in an infographic format, you can, no? You can use Canva or any editing app or software. Of course, you can also choose PowerPoint slides and video presentation, no? 1 to 3 minutes only. Okay? So, last reminders for you. Do not enter in a restricted or dangerous areas just to take pictures. So if you can see, you need to assess, no, the area. If you can see that it is dangerous or restricted, do not go there just to take pictures. Okay, and only observe hazards that can be safely viewed from a distance. So of course you are identifying or observing possible hazards. Those hazards, or consider only those hazards that can be viewed from a distance. So not necessary na duulan yun nimo ang usa ka hazard nga imong nakita. Okay? And lastly, second to the last is avoid taking photos of strangers or private properties without permission. And lastly, your goal is awareness, not blaming or exposing individuals. Okay? So our main purpose here is for us to learn and to be aware, and of course for others also. Okay? So I hope that's clear. So thank you for listening in this video lecture, and if you have um, further concerns or questions, I hope, or please message me or message your instructor so that you will be guided on what you're going to do, especially in the activity or in the output or the requirements rather that you need to submit in relation to this video lecture. Okay, so once again, thank you, and I hope that you're still having a great day and enjoy the rest of your day, and God bless.